Welcome everyone. Today we are making some delicious garlic dinner rolls. Here are the ingredients. We have 2 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. You can use all-purpose flour or even bread flour. We're using 2 tablespoons of melted but cooled down butter, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and this is 1 cup of half water, half milk. We're using 1 tablespoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried parsley. And I'm using instant yeast for this recipe. This is a 7-gram package, which is 2 teaspoons and 1/4 of a teaspoon. First, we're going to mix our dry ingredients. We're going to put in the flour, our sugar, our salt, our garlic powder, and our dried oregano. I'm sorry, not oregano, dried parsley. Now I'm going to put in our yeast. All out, and we're just going to whisk this together. Everything's in. I think that's whisked well enough. Now we will make a well or center hole in the center of our flour mixture. We will put in our 2 tablespoons of melted butter, not very hot but warm, cooled down. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're going to pour in our cup of half milk, half water combination. Be sure to have it at the correct temperature so it can activate the yeast. Now we're going to stir to combine to form our dough. I will be kneading this bread by hand. You can use a stand mixer, no problem. Or you can just actually do this. Stir it just like that for about 5 to 6 minutes if you want to. Just stirring it like that and it'll get to the way we want it to be. So I'm going to put a little flour on my work surface here, and I'm going to bring out the dough. And I'm going to knead it until it is smooth, which may be about 5, 6, 7 minutes. It depends totally on the grade of flour that you have. All flours are not exactly milled the same way. Okay. Let me get my little friend here. I always start with it because the dough is normally sticky. And I'll be using a little bit of dusting flour, I call it, as I'm getting it ready for the serious kneading process. And I try not to use too much extra flour, about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon at a time. And the way I do it, so I get it to where I can work with it. It's going to be sticky the first probably 3 or 4 minutes. I like to kind of slap and fold. because the dough will get to where you can do that. Kind of just slap it down, and the dough will begin to get smooth and very workable. After about 3 minutes or so of playing with the dough, it becomes more manageable, and this is just what I do. I do that for about 4 more minutes. It will continue to be a little sticky, but manageable. So I use this to help me if I ever need to pick it up. If it's absolutely too sticky, just a little bit of flour more. And I try to make sure I use all the flour that is on my work surface. That way you don't really end up wasting any, or a very little bit. So the dough is just about ready. I got about 1 more minute. Of this process. Okay, as you can see, the dough is not holding on to the work surface, the counter. So the dough is smooth now. It's sticky, but it doesn't like cling to your hand. Now, you can use a rolling pin or what have you to roll these out, but you don't have to. You can actually just use your bare hands, the old-fashioned way, the first world way. So I just roll it out, then I roll it up. Bring the seam together as evenly as possible. Pinch it together and mash it down. Now we have a little bit neater. We have our roll. In my baking dish here, I have sprayed it with a little bit of baking spray. I'm using butter flavor. You can lightly grease it if you don't use baking spray, and I have them laid out here. Now I'm simply going to cover and allow them to rise. Let's check on our rolls. Okay, they have risen. Now I'm going to put together 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of water. 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of water for our egg wash. And I'm going to spread a little egg wash over them just to have the color. This step is really not necessary. It's just that I want a darker color on the rolls. So I'm going to spread just a little on here. And we don't need to rise anymore. They have risen this one time, which is enough. I deflated that one there almost. So lightly put it on. So we're going to bake them in a preheated 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. When our bread is finished baking, we're going to put some garlic and butter over it. So I have some minced garlic here. I'm going to mix it up in this melted butter. And I'm going to put in a little bit of dried parsley flakes. I'm just going to brush it over the bread. The bread has finished baking. And after we place this delicious garlic butter over it, it will be so ready to eat in about maybe 5 minutes afterwards. When bread comes out of the oven, it's very firm. So you have to brush butter over it. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, that is enough. The rolls have had a chance to cool down. Oh my. Oh. Soft and delicious. Thank you so much for watching.